email, email, scroll buttons. Strong Bad here. Oh, I mean, your friendly neighborhood comic book dude here. Here to commemorate the start of It's Okay to Wear White season, because we haven't hit Labor Day yet, but we are in and or after Memorial Day. I'm your host of this channel that has nothing to do with those things. Here to bring you another batch of collectibles. It took a holiday to finally catch up. I know I've been kind of like getting later and later with the videos, and then it turns out it's like, oh man, I can use this day to catch up, and guess what? Here we are, right after a Sunday of getting stuff, recording on a Monday. So, let's get right to it. And just in case you happen to notice the lovely poster behind us there, for once, it's not huge, but it's also not a mainstream Marvel DC poster. Doesn't mean it's not cool. In fact, most of the comics I buy in this day and age are only independents, which a lot of people in my position are feeling really happy as they continue to see things greenlit by like Netflix and like other networks, and you're just like, yep, I just bought this to read. It was a great read. I kept it in great shape, and now this book is going up in price. I didn't even buy it for that reason. So, anyway, as we talk about new things and new shows and new stuff, feels appropriate to ignore new and run back to the old, aka an homage to the old 90s Flash show here in the form of our DC Direct for this week. Lovely, beautiful Flash in the name of Barry Allen. But also the likeness is inspired by, God, I don't remember his name. I know his last name is Ship, which feels awful because I met him, I shook his hand, I got a picture with him, and if he ever sees this, he'll just be like, you know what, I'm never shaking that dude's hand again because he can't remember my name. But he was Barry Allen back in the day. He was Flash's dad in the current Flash show. Beautiful looking 1/6 scale piece here. And it's going for a steal, a lovely $50. $50. I think that's our cheapest DC Direct yet. Nothing wrong with them. Just maybe people are more keen to a different Flash. I think he looks great. So anybody who agrees can slap down $50 and get that bad boy. Next, we have some very pricey hardcovers today. The first one is not one of them, but the other two are really pricey. Got ourselves this hefty JLA Silver Age Volume 2 hardcover. Beautiful Dwayne Cook art too. Beautiful. Always loved him. Did the New Frontier. If anybody ever saw that movie or read that story. Also, another steal. I mean, this thing retails for, I don't know if you could see it there. Retails for $99.99. The purchaser of this item can get it for $45 plus shipping. I mean, cellophane is still on that thing. I can't, it's not even like I'm misleading anybody. It's just that cheap. However, the next two items are much more than their retail price. So, just understand we weigh the odds here, and it's a balancing act. The next item is the Invincible Iron Man. This is the second volume of this. It is the not direct market variant. It's got like a beautiful homage cover by an artist whose signature I can't read, but it encompasses Tales of Suspense 84 to 99, which is the back end of the Iron Man parts of Tales of Suspense. It includes the Iron Man and Submariner #1 one-shot, and it's got the first 25 issues of Invincible Iron Man when he goes into his own book, which is some combination of those things are what drive up the price of this. It is retail $100. The price on this was between $153 was the low, and the high was $310. We settled at $225. I wish I could say that it won't sell at that price, but for anybody who has added me on Facebook, seen any of the posts on my other forms of social media, I had several of these high-end hardcovers get bought. I can't remember if I said this in an earlier video because I tried not to be somebody who was gushing about this. I mean, I was doing it inside. On the outside, I was trying to maintain my composure. Gerard Way, like, of My Chemical Romance, bought 2 of the actual DM variants because he preferred those, and he says he was getting bored on the during the pandemic. And I'm not saying that because I have regular conversations with Gerard Way, but I got up the nerve to ask after he made the purchase on eBay, had like a pseudonym, but I saw the name come through on PayPal, and I'm like, is it? And he said it was, and he gave me a spiel, and he could be lying, but all signs point to yes. This next one is also very nice. Excuse me. Not Corona, just dust from toys. We've got the XMen Volume 1. This thing is bonkers price-wise. This is collecting just straight up X-Men 1 to 31, like the original, and this is the Ross cover too. So I'm not, in my travels, it actually seemed like the Ross cover was the better of the 2 in terms of how much it was selling for. Probably not better in terms of if you were a buyer and you were looking for it. I actually like both the covers. It's one of those rare instances where sometimes you see the original and then you see the homage and you're like, oh, this one looks better, or this one looks better. They both look good. It's like a tie. But the low on X-Men Volume 1 Omnibus hardcover was $240. The high was $500, and there was a nice smattering in between. It was not a one-off $500, no, one-off $240. There was plenty of 3s and 4s in the middle. It blew my mind. This is the most expensive hardcover I've come across yet. I think we planted the flag right at $350 on this one. Again, I do apologize. I've said this several times. $350 is a drop in the bucket compared to what it would cost you to buy X-Men #1 or any combination of the books in this collection in the condition that you're reading them in this book. You would have to be buying a near mint copy of the comic, and astronomical. It's better to go this route and feel bad that you're spending 4 times the retail value on this hardcover than it would to buy the comic and know that you were spending thousands upon thousands of times the original value, because they would have been 10 centers, 12 centers, things like that. Whew, crazy. Moving on from the heart attack that might have caused some people. We might have had one of these already. I lose track sometimes because Frank, the owner of all these items, had some redundancies in his collection. Sometimes he just wanted multiples, like one to open, one to play with, and the other one like to not open. But then a lot of times he just never opened either. I don't know. This looks very familiar. I'm not 100% sure. Either way, it looks cool. This is an Alien Predator box set. It is not Alien vs. Predator because it came out in 2002, which I believe predated the Alien vs. Predator movie, at least the first one. But yeah, beautiful little like standoff between the two. McFarlane imagining how it would go. But unfortunately, this sort of suffers the McFarlane curse that I've been noticing. And despite the fact that the figures are beautiful, they're well crafted. I've actually talked to somebody about this. I think one of the reasons why this happens with McFarlane stuff is he mass produces. Be it comics, be it toys, be it whatever. I mean, this is why in 2020, Spawn #1 is still not that much. I mean, you can pick up a Spawn #1 for like $50. You know what I mean? It'd have to be like signed, slabbed, whatever, to be upwards of that. But like to have a #1 of a character who's got more than 300 issues in his title, he's been running for like 30 plus years, and it's a prolific character. I mean, he's had movies, he's in animes, he's got another movie. Like, he's not a bad character. To have a book like that be not worth that much, it's because there are so many out there. And then they do reprints and then trades, and like it devalues the original, or even if it doesn't make it go down, it prevents it from going more up. So, but that being said, our alien predator friend here was between 30 and 85, so we're gonna do 55 on him. I think that's still great. I don't know what this thing retailed for, but I imagine if you were to buy a separate alien, separate predator of this quality, they'd probably be about 40 each retail. I mean, it's, you know, got some like pieces in there with it, so I would not have been shocked if this retailed for 80 or higher when it was in the store. Let's see. Next, this is another one that if we haven't had this specific one, we've had things like it. Got ourselves a little Pennywise action here. Will you float down here with me? Pennywise, he's got some extra heads, he's got some extra pieces here. He's not exactly a NECA like Ultimate Deluxe. He's just considered a NECA real toy, and when they like switched over to the boxes to these kind where you could like basically make them like your DVDs or books and like slip them on a bookshelf like this. Not super old. Came out about the time of the movie, 2017. $30 for this guy right here. Let's see, what else? In our ever-expanding search for more cloth NECAs, I continue to look for ones that aren't variations on the same character, but at the same time there are people out there that are maybe have one that I've shown and then don't have the next. So in that vein, you know, when you come across your third Freddy in a row, you know, this one is from the original, or it's listed as from the original. It's not like a Friday the 13th part, etc. So that might be driving up the value of this some. This is between 80 and 100. I'm not splitting the difference on this. I think we're gonna call this one just 80 and call it a day. So fully intact, fully together, beautiful cloth piece. Looks like there's one little chip on the plastic on the back there. From the front, or from the back right there, you see a little piece off. But other than that, the figure himself is totally intact. He's hangable, all that beautiful stuff. So yeah, NECA real toy. Oh, the next thing was really cool too. So I haven't seen one of these yet. So our friends at Mezco, at some point decided they wanted to do something a little different than their buddies across the street at NECA, and they wanted to make some screen grabs. So it's like they pulled scenes exactly from the movie to make into like action figure form or diorama form. I saw some dioramas rather than just action figure sized ones. But this one is from A Nightmare on Elm Street. She's in the bed there, dreaming, and Freddy's coming out of the bed frame, coming after her. There's some end tables. There's you know, it's a full little like thing you can just put together. It's like a little mini diorama. I don't know because Mezco's not NECA and they're not putting out tons and tons of horror icon things like this. If this is the reason, or there was actually two versions of this. One where she's like grayed out, like a blue and gray version, which is a little bit more. But either way, this is another one that's just kind of pricey. This one is between 85 and 100. I think this is another one we're just gonna say 80 and call it a day. I'm sure this would be a great piece for anybody's collection. It's 12 years old. You know, NECA sort of dominates the market. It feels like these days when it comes to like small impact action figures related to horror. I don't know if Mezco tried and they were just like they conceded or what, but you know, I show you guys enough stuff to know that you guys see way more NECA here than you do Mezco. So yeah. Next one. So I never got too into the alien stuff. I mean, I think I told you guys before, I'm just not a big space person. And the later iterations of Alien, were even less appealing to me until about Prometheus and whatever the one that came after that they like added the Alien label to, because tons of people didn't know Prometheus was related to Alien, so it didn't do so well at the box office, or as well as it could have. But this feels like it's from that era. This is a newborn alien from Alien Resurrection. You know, it's like all white. It hasn't like developed its like callous skin yet. It's got kind of like a skull for a face. But I don't know. She's relatively new, or it's relatively new. Looks like there's like some diorama pieces in the back behind that too. It's kind of cool. This only came out last year. You might still be able to find it out in the wild. Probably not. A lot of the horror groups I'm in, I tend to see people posting their weekly pictures of like Target and stuff. So finding this at a big box is probably unlikely. Maybe at a comic book store, possible. We're gonna say $28, and hope that somebody out there is looking for an albino alien. Just banging right along on these. Wow, this is another one that like is sort of shockingly cheap compared to what some of these go for. And to my knowledge, this is the last one that I saw, because there was a display wall of Sideshow action figures, and this is the last one on it. I don't know if there's any like hidden somewhere else, but as far as I know, of the Sideshow action figures I was showing you guys, this is the last one. We've got the Metaluna Mutant from This Island Earth. Very iconic looking monster. I've seen him in a lot of stuff, seen him on lots of covers of magazines and things. Very like starkly different than the core Universal monsters, but still stands out. I think he stands out as a monster, and I'm sure diehard fans know that he's Universal, but like there are plenty of horror people that I've talked to that don't necessarily, they talk about Universal and then they talk about This Island Earth, and they don't always like connect the two, either consciously or unconsciously. But I don't know if it's because there's a bunch of other Metaluna Mutant stuff out there. I don't know. I mean, this is beautiful. This is like super detailed stuff. I couldn't tell you what the reason is, but this is only going to cost $20. Maybe there's just more call for other Metaluna stuff. Maybe I'm overhyping him and there's just not that much love out there for the Metaluna Mutant. I'm not sure. But, yeah, $20 for this beady-eyed, brain-headed beast. Okay. Next. Something that looks like a Kenner, smells like a Kenner, but is a Hasbro. These are the Jedi Spirits from the Power of the Force Hasbro collection. And they come with, what do we got? Anakin, Yoda, and Obi-Wan. Little translucent blue fellers. They got a little backdrop with them too if you felt like using it. It's kind of cool. It's from that like final scene in I can't remember if it's Empire or Return of the Jedi. But yeah. So they're there and they, you know, they're like talking to Luke at the end. But yeah. Yeah, actually, that's gotta be because it's Anakin's there, who's like it's like him after Darth Vader's dead. Yeah, a very relatively inexpensive piece. I don't know if the Power of the Force Hasbro stuff suffered from the same kind of stuff as McFarlane, where there is a ton of it out there. I don't know if there's just not a lot of call for this stuff. I don't know. $16. Sealed, never been opened. Great for any fan of some older Star Wars stuff. But doesn't want to break their bank spending like double that on a Black Series figure for one figure, where you get 3 out of this. Next, more stuff that I would think would be worth more, but is surprisingly not. So we had a couple of weeks ago, we had like an Avengers 5-pack or 6-pack, and it was like a collector's edition thing from Toy Biz. where like when you open it up, it looks like they're kind of like busting out of the pages of the comic, and it was like all the original Avengers from issue 1, including like Wasp and Ant-Man, but like they were tiny. Yeah. So I came across one that was giant size X-Men. Giant size. It was actually pretty cool. Somehow, though, I don't know if they just felt like there was already too many Wolverines out there or what. I mean, they've got Wolverine on the cover. They've got Cyclops on the cover. They don't have Banshee on the cover, even though he ended up being part of this whole group of shenanigans. So they pull out these two boys. You got Thunderbird, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm. Thunderbird, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm. Remove Cyclops, Wolverine. Add Sunfire and Banshee. And then we got these guys. Never owned this as a kid, but I actually really wanted to. I actually even remember my one friend having the Sunfire, and I borrowed it several times. Cool image from the back there too. I don't know. I scratch my head at stuff like this again. Like, the cost of this is gonna cost you for these 6 figures. Is gonna cost you about the same as one Marvel Legends after tax. 28 is what we're asking for this, and it breaks my heart a little bit. I don't know why that felt like a weird in between set of figures where they were definitely better quality than a lot of the Marvel figures coming out of the 90s, but probably not as good as the Legends or the Marvel Selects. I don't know if that is drawing down their value because somebody's just going to buy like a better Colossus, a better Nightcrawler, like whatever the case may be. It's unfortunate for, me as a collector and curator, but it's great for you as a buyer. Alright, next. I'm gonna do some juggling here. We had a Talkie Tina bobblehead at one point. And we had a Gremlin bobblehead at one point. So I found some more Twilight Zone ones. Do a little like acrobatic act going on here. We got Willie and Jerry, which is like a guy and his dummy. We got the Canimate, which I love, and this one's actually an Entertainment Earth Comic-Con exclusive because he's in color rather than black and white, which is how they come standard. And then we've got Bob Wilson, who William Shatner played, in that Twilight Zone episode with the Gremlin. There's a gremlin on the wing. Sure, there's nothing out there. There's a gremlin on the wing. It came from a time where, people having panic attacks and psychotic breaks were just unheard of, so people were just thought he was pure crazy. But yeah, these aren't going for a whole heck of a lot. I think we're going to try to sell these as a set first, just because they're relatively low. The 3 of them are going to go for $60. If not, I can look at parting them out. But I think that's a great deal. So there are those. I don't know. This feels like a small week. I mean, then again, there's some stuff that's come and gone that hasn't hit the screen. As always, check the Patreon a day before the video, or if you become a patron, you'll just get the notifications when the post hits, because some people will be like, well, one week you post it Wednesday, and then Thursday, and we never know. Well, if you're on the Patreon, for $1 a month, you will see 24 hours beforehand. That's usually the precursor, because I've already got the video recorded when I put it on Patreon, so that's how you know. Then there's really no matter of contention there. But yeah, feel free to become a subscriber. $1 a month gets you early access to these things on here, and then they never hit the video, and I if they sell ahead of time, and then I have to go back and I have to like edit and reshoot. And no, don't do that. Don't buy them ahead, or do. I'm busting on you either way. But next thing, I am hyped about this next one. If only because I was a big big X-Files fan, and not exactly the first X-Files thing I want to showcase. I'd love to find something like more substantive in terms of like, you know, characters that are like, you know, I was a big Mulder guy. I don't know, Scully just never did it for me. I don't know. Sorry. Something about a person named Fox, you know, going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs about government alien conspiracies just revs my engines. But we've got a sideshow of Frank Black from X-Files. He's from the Millennium Group, and I believe that was part of the spin-off, one of the spin-offs that they ended up doing, which was called Millennium. I never saw that or The Lone Gunman, so I don't know for sure. I know he was for sure in X-Files because I remember seeing him in that. But, so there's that. Beautifully rendered piece. He actually looks older in the figure than he does as a guy. I feel like they would do that the other way around. Like, you know, he's super old looking in here, but then they'd like distinguish him up as a toy. What do I know? Relatively inexpensive though. Kind of what I was talking about with it, like being a not as prolific X-Files character. But some people need that stuff to collect, and you know, sometimes they want to like piece together that whole collection. And for that reason, you know, you're gonna get a steal on this fella too. He's $35. Might be one of the cheapest sideshows we've sold yet. This next thing, I'm gonna be honest. When I took it, I thought it was a sideshow also, because I've tried to take a few of those a week. Some of those, like, you know, these cloth sideshow figures. He's not a sideshow. He's a reasonable facsimile. Jeepers Creepers, one of my favorite horror movies as a child. Mostly because, like, when you saw the first one before they'd ended up doing more, you know, you had a little bit of insight into like what was going on, but you know, it left you purely dumbfounded, like, because this was the first film. There was like no mythos to fall back on, so it was pretty cool. It's a 12-inch figure, you know, of the Creeper himself. Trying to avoid that glare so you guys can get like a sort of a look at him. Beautiful piece, but as you'll note, he is not a sideshow. He is actually a Majestic. So story time for Majestic. Majestic is another one of our friends out of the Middle East, Asia, China, Hong Kong area specifically. You know, like our friends at Hot Toys or Star Ace. Their whole jam is they like making, you know, they like putting out licensed material. Who doesn't, right? Because they make money. But they're you know, raison d'etre is all about putting things out that like slip through the cracks. That there isn't a ton of memorabilia on. We're going into our 14th week, you know, together here. I haven't shown you a single piece of Jeepers Creepers memorabilia. I haven't seen much of it in my own travels. There's just not a ton. It doesn't really exist. And for that reason, they, I think, are trying to mine. They don't put out stuff very often, it seems, but they were trying to mine the market on those kinds of things, and it shows because this guy is really expensive. This guy is between $70 for a loose used one I found, or $300 brand new, and this is brand new. We got some seals up top here that have never been broken. We've got a seal there and a seal there. Neither of those have been broken. Yeah, he's brand new. I think we're gonna settle in the 180 range on this guy, which is definitely a deal. Only because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I kind of give any of you folks, this is my buddy Chance. He feels like joining in the video. Oh no, you want to go? You know, we're on camera, so you don't want to be around. I usually, when I go on the low and the high when I'm looking at the sold prices on these items, I include the lowest of the low. And sometimes it skews the numbers in your guys' favor, because the lowest of the low might very well be a loose pre-owned figure, which when I'm selling a not used, not open, or a brand new, never been open figure, probably shouldn't be included in the average of it. So it's to help you guys, to help get these things to people who want them without breaking their bank totally when possible. So yeah, the next piece kind of falls back into our spectrum of the expensive. We've had a couple of these, and each time I find one, I'm more and more amazed, because one, I didn't know some of these existed. I've seen, prior to my work with Frank's collection, I'd seen one Tonner in my life, because they just didn't come into my store very often. They weren't something I saw in our catalog very often. They're rare. They don't put them out like other toys, and that's why they're so expensive, because they go to such great detail to create them. This one is from our friends at Harry Potter. I wonder if you can guess who it is. I'll give you a hint. Our other Tonners included Maleficent, Jessica Rabbit, usually females. Female from Hogwarts. Who's it gonna be? In a cloak. And it be Hermione, which might be hard to tell because her head is turned sideways. While it's all like wrapped up, like the thing is all still wrapped up. It's never been opened. Beautiful piece. This is specifically supposed to be Hermione from the Goblet of Fire. There actually, as I did my research for this, there are a couple of Hermione Tonners. Tonner realized that Hermione was probably a good figure to invest some time into. There was a Yule Ball one that I saw. There was a Deathly Hallows one. But yep, she's Goblet of Fire. Who knows? Maybe we'll come across some of the others. She was between 86, again, for an open loose figure, and 320. I think the average on that rounds out to about 205. We're gonna just call it 200, because math is easy with round figures. But yeah, she's a beautiful piece, great for any lover of Hermione. Most, if not all, the Tonners, I didn't see it, but she's all wrapped up. Most of the Tonners I have seen at this point did come as stands, so there may be a stand bundled underneath there to like hold her up and have her maybe extend a wand or something. So next piece, where is this thing? Ooh, it's gonna require me to slip off camera for a moment. Hey. Oh. So it's been a little while since we had one of our friends from Kotobukiya. For refresher, there are lovely pre-painted model / statue friends of the Orient. This particular one is Batman from The Dark Knight Rises. I don't know how well you can see him. There's that. There's a better image on the back of him all put together too. Again, he's pre-painted. He's already ready to go. You just have to assemble a piece here or there, but it's all pretty much click in place and go. So we're definitely giving a little bit of a deal on this one. This one's got a fair bit of box wear to it, some roughness. It looks about as battle damaged as Batman would look after his fight with Bane. Himself, he's never been opened. The seals are all intact on this guy. I saw the brand new ones going for between 150 and 200. I think as a personal favor from us to whoever would like this, we're going to go with an even 100 and hope that you're somebody who's opening it and enjoying it and not so fickle about your boxes, because yeah, it's not a pretty display box, but the figure itself will look great once he comes out of the box. So yeah. Coming to the end. What we got left? 2 left. This next one, I had to save till close to the end because I think we've had one other music figure piece, but that one felt more anecdotal. They were we had Blues Brothers figures, I believe, in one of the earlier weeks. They were silly, but this next one feels like it was made entirely as a serious buy for like fans of this. Oh man, this is an 18-inch John Lennon NECA with sound. It's actually, what's this say? It's a motion activated sound. She's gonna walk by and John Lennon's gonna start to like make comments and stuff about like Yoko breaking up the band or missing Ringo or things like that. No, I don't know what he says, but this is just not something I would expect to find. It's cool. It's different. I think most of the collectible market kind of feels the same way. They want John Lennon for his music and not as a figure. Because, I mean, the range on this was like $18 for a loose one and $90 for a brand new one, which means you guys get it for a cool $55. What do you think about that, John? I think that's really good, comic book dude. Now get out of here. Huffy. Alright. So, our last item for today is a bit more of a specialty piece. It didn't... I will disclaimer here, not that, this at the end of the day, this is my channel. I can showcase what I would like. 99% of the things I've been sharing with you guys belong to the collection of my deceased friend. But I got provided a I'll call it interesting piece. And it's sort of a collectible, at least in its own right. So I'll preface this by saying I don't have much knowledge when it comes to shoes. Shoes are not my jam. I don't go stand in line at Nike for a midnight release of shoes. It's just not something I do. However, when they pertain to a comic book character, I can respect the collectability of something like that. I don't think that as many shoes are treated as collectible should be, but then again, I'm sure many of the people that buy shoes could say the same thing about a lot of the collectibles I showcase to you guys. That being said, the shoes that I've got to share with you guys are called the... for you shoe connoisseurs, give you the full-blown name of these. These are the Air Jordan 1 Retro High OGs, and in quotation marks when you look this up on StockX or eBay or wherever. Oh man, I dropped StockX. That's some real sneaker knowledge for you. I had to do research before I did that though. In quotations, these are called the origin story shoes. So the reason they're called that is because they were these shoes that were showcased on the cover of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, starring Miles Morales. I can't remember if he wears them in the movie. If he does, it's for sure not through the whole film, because when he's running around as Spidey, he's got like more of a textured, attached to the suit type sneaker. So these were probably, if he did wear them in the movie, these were probably when he was like in civilian garb. Let's see. But this is what they look like. They have never been worn to my knowledge. Still got the inserts and everything. Cool little Air Jordan logo right there. The one interesting thing, I don't know if this is good or bad. Again, I try to absolve myself of this by saying I am not a shoe person. These were an error shipment in that they are billed as size 13s. They are in a size 13 box, but only one of the shoes is a size 13. And I could show you. They're in the box that they were sold to the person with. So, you know what I mean? It was a shipment. It wasn't like somebody went to the store and decided, hey, I want to have the guy go in the back room and tell him to give me one of each, size. Like, it just wouldn't happen that way. But yeah, I believe it's the left is a 12 and the right is a 13. I don't know if in sneaker world this makes them rare. I don't know if this makes them inconvenient. I'm not sure. But that being said, they are pricey shoes. They go for, I don't know, anywhere between north of 400 to as high as 700. I've seen 700 as recently as sold as this week. I'm sure there are other factors there. The specific size, things like that. I was asked to put these on for the lowest they were found sold, which is 400. Again, full disclosure, 12 and a 13. Maybe that's good for some. I don't know. But I still think they're really cool. I think it's cool that they do something like that in this day and age too, to make like sneakers that tie into comic book related films and aren't just like, light up click sneakers that have got like a little picture of them on the tongue, which would have been the equivalent to a comic tie-in shoe when I was a kid. So, but yeah. But that's it. That's what I got for you guys today. As always, like, comment, subscribe. If you're interested in any of the posters, in the video the posters posted, comment a number, and at the beginning of the next video, I will, do a raffle and give them away. I don't think we've yet done that because we're still a growing channel. That we haven't quite hit the sweet spot of the number of people that are interested in posters to comment ratio to be able to do it, but it's coming. It's there. But as always, have a safe and fun Memorial Day, whatever you're doing. And I've been your host, the Friendly Neighborhood Comic Book Dude. I will catch you guys next time.